Welcome to another episode of Hobby Nonsense. We are back in studio. Clever Cuban cards himself, Alex, can't ever pronounce his last name. Alex.
Yanso.
Yanso. Yanso?
Yanso.
Oh, I can pronounce that.
Yeah.
I did it.
Congratulations.
Alex, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jesse?
I'm very good. I'm very good. For those who maybe haven't listened to Sports Cards Nonsense, Alex is a part of the SCN Network team. He does some content, and he is also local to Nashville. And he's just an all-around good guy and fun guy to talk to. He's not a mushroom, just to be clear. I said fun guy. See what I did there?
Yeah,
You
very
get
funny.
it. Alex is getting on board. He is in a world. How would you rate your comfortability 1 to 10 in the non-sport world?
I'd probably give it a 6 or a 7.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you had said 3 or 4, I would have gotten a little more nervous.
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right.
I can't talk everything.
Sure.
But the things that I do know about, I can talk a lot about.
Well, with Ray on a trip to Florida right now, thanks a lot, Ray, for leaving me behind.
Sounds nice.
I know. I'm over here having goiter removes, and he's going off to vacation in the laps of luxury. Whatever, big deal. Alex was kind enough to jump in here. We have a limited amount of time because he is on dad duty. He's got a little girl he's picking up, right? Is that right? Yep. Okay. Did you have anything that you wanted to talk about at any point? Because I will make a note right now, like, oh, he wanted to mention that. I'll jot it down. But if not, if you just want to kind of like vibe in there, we'll do that.
Happy to vibe.
All right. Well, then let's do this. Let's start with new release. You want to do that? So Dune we talked about last week, and Dune is new, but I did still want to talk about it because I ripped, we did like 4 cases of it on Friday. I got to see a good bit of that product. I will say I did talk to a guy who may or may not have gotten some boxes early. He ripped them on Thursday. And so I got to see what some of those looked at like. This was a fun little fact with Dune. They did not put this into the sales material or anything. Some of the autos, specifically both Oscar Isaac and Christopher Walken, were on-card autos, which is very cool in the non-sport world,
It's
especially
rare, right?
from what Topps has been putting out, is all sticker autos, which, hey, we'll take a sticker auto, especially if it's like a Tom Hanks with Woody. That's very desirable, but what would be even cooler would be the on-card, and the fact that they did that. But my thinking is it the best move that we're not marketing that? What do you think about this? Because this has happened on a few of these releases lately where it's like these products, they're doing kudos to the team, to Aaron and the rest of the people on the non-sport and culture side of card creation at Topps. They're doing really well because they're giving the people what they want. They want autos of the characters, not just the voice autos, but they want the actors who are doing them. They're doing fun inserts, cool shadow box designs, all this different stuff that has drawn more people to the product. And not just created like a direct copy of what they did last year. So that's cool. Yeah. But it's like we're leaving out some of the biggest, draws to that product in the details where specifically I'm thinking with, say, Disney, they told us a number of the autographs that were going to be in there. They never said anything about the Tom Hanks autograph or Will Smith autograph that was going to be in there, which to me, I'm like, that you'd think you'd want to make sure people know about that. The same with this Dune on-card auto situation. You got Oscar Isaac, and you got at least those two, Oscar Isaac and Christopher Walken, signing on-card, but we're not talking about that. Those are big selling points. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I think they are, but I'm curious on your perspective in that, in the sports world, which is where I spend most of my time, business, creating content, etc.
Sure.
That's a big deal.
Yes, absolutely.
In the, as Mike would call them, magical character world, is there that draw? Now, obviously a, Christopher Walken on card, if you're somebody who has been ripping, Leaf and chasing celebrity autos for a while, that is a proper cool thing that I would think you would want.
Yes.
But if you are just a fan of the Dune movies, or you are a fan of SpongeBob SquarePants, is it a selling point?
That's fair.
And
so are those people as into the hobby as maybe some other people? Okay, that's fair enough.
And or is the product going to sell itself anyways? Like your customer who's going to buy that box is going to buy it no matter what. And then what it does is it generates additional hype when it's out that we are now talking about it, saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't realize that, which I think that one of the problems that Topps has is a lot of times depending on the product, it can go up after release, like SpongeBob, but it can also go down after release, depending on, you know, its popularity. And maybe it's a strategic marketing move of, we're going to leave these fun, exciting things out that make people realize, well, wait a minute, I missed out. You're having proper FOMO that now you say, okay, well, I wasn't going to grab a box, but maybe now I will.
I am liking your thinking here. I didn't think about it in the sense of a purposeful design as far as let's give the people maybe something to draw them in after they've already made their initial minds up. Like, oh, either I bought some or I didn't buy some, but I've already done my thinking and I'm maybe moving on. They're saying, hey, whoa, don't move on quite yet because look at this. We've got something else to show you. I like the idea that could be a purposeful thing, because that is the question sometimes when it comes to, you know, what is going on the back end of Topps, because we both Mike and I and several others, we have contacts over there. We hear things, we know certain things, but some of these questions like that specifically, or, you know, why are we seeing so much of the same product IP coming out at the same time? Those are questions where it's like, it keeps happening. So it makes me wonder, are we actually doing it on purpose? Even though many view these things to be issues. And for another example is the issue of, why are we putting out, say, another product like Disney, where we have Disney Chrome come out, which has been excellent and exciting. And I'll be promoting my breaks again on here, and we'll be talking that up. But then you also have Disney Wonder, which comes out this week, which we're going to talk about. And then we just got the announcement about Disney Mint that just got released at New York Comic Con, and then we'll see that here in the next couple of weeks. And it makes me think, actually, I don't know for sure, but is there a Disney Sapphire coming? I don't know for sure if there is, but it's just like the same thing happened with Marvel. Same thing was going on with Star Wars. It's just like, why are we putting out these things back to back to back? And if they keep doing it, it again raises the question, are they doing it on purpose? And therefore, I wonder, because you just made a solid point on why they're doing it. They could be doing it with leaving out details of, you know, reasons you want to buy the product. Maybe there is a reason behind that one. I don't know.
I would guess, again, back to the non-sport world doesn't necessarily have as much foundation built in terms of expecting trading cards. You know, if you're a Disney super fan, you're somebody who buys merch a lot of times. You might be going to Disney World. You might be doing pin trading, things like that. Those are all things that you know, anticipate, expect.
Yes.
If you're somebody who is not in the psyche of the Topps trading card world, if Disney releases Topps Chrome and now it's generating buzz and it's exciting, you have those Disney fans saying, whoa, wait a minute, this is an interesting thing. And my theory is that Topps is just trying to ride that wave. That for me as a baseball guy, I'm waiting and I want to know, when is Cosmic, when is Pristine, when is Museum Collection, all of these sets that will be coming out at some point here theoretically.
Sure.
But Topps knows that I'm actively waiting for those.
Yeah.
If I'm a Disney fan, I don't know what's coming next. So if you create too large of a gap between products, does that mean that you're going to lose interest and lose people? I think they're trying to ride the wave.
Okay. I love this me glass half empty, you glass half full type of mentality.
I can get negative too if you need
No, because this is great, because these are genuine questions. I want honest feedback, but I also want someone who has a different way of thinking about it. So that is perfect. And it actually kind of answers some of that, because that's a viable answer to why they are doing it. Doesn't mean I have to like it as a breaker. And I might be wrong.
I'm just making stuff up.
Because the devil's advocate side would say that is a viable option. However, what I see as a breaker is that guys who like the product, whether they were breaking with me or they were just going out to their card shop and buying, is if you are into the card community and you are already collecting, then you're running into, oh, well, I kind of spent the max amount I wanted to spend on Disney cards this month. And it's like, oh, the Disney Wonder product's coming out. That looks cool. Yeah, but I already kind of collected a lot of those characters in the last product. Oh, the Disney Mint is coming out. Oh, that's a little bit more pricey, and the Disney Chrome was already kind of pricey. So it's like, I don't know if I want to. So it does make me, I guess I still fear that we are maybe still attracting other buyers, like the other Disney collectors, but maybe the guys who are already into the hobby, it is negatively impacting them in some instances. But I like the conversation no matter what. Thank you, Alex. That kind of does segue us, though, very nicely into Disney Wonder that I did want to talk about. No. Disney Mint we'll end up talking about. It's very similar to Marvel Mint, it looks like, as far as the style of cards. Instead of the Gambit, playing deck of cards, they have the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. She has a deck of cards, I think out of 75 in that product. So that'll be cool. I do think there's some cool aspects of it. And they actually have autographs, actor autographs in this one, where Marvel Mint did not have that. So I am expecting pricing on that to, well, I hope it doesn't come out super high, but I've got a feeling it's going to be a little bit higher than what we saw Marvel Mint be. But the kind of complete opposite of that is Disney Wonder, because it's actually coming out at a relatively low price, and I'm here for it. I'm super pumped. Disney Wonder is the product they alluded to at the April Tops conference down in Atlanta, but they called it, they didn't have a name for it, I guess, at the time, or at least I don't remember them calling it Disney Wonder, because they kind of referred to it as like a Disney princess product or something like that. And there really is a focus on Disney princesses, which I'm going to be honest, I love that. I love that they are giving a little bit more focus to that side of the Disney genre, because even in your regular Disney Chrome product that we've had and experienced the last few years, there's always a chase for the princesses, like Elsa specifically is huge, but then you've got, your Snow Whites and Jasmines and Mulan and all these. It's a smart move on Top's part, but I think it's also going to be able to bring in a lot of younger people, because retail on the boxes is $200 for a hobby box, and they have
on eBay at $145 right now.
Exactly. I was gonna say, even though that's what Steel City's got it at is $200, eBay's got it for cheaper. I will say this: I don't know about case hits and things like that. Like if you need to worry about that, like, oh, all the case hits got pulled, and so now they're selling some of those boxes, so you're getting a discount because you might not be getting that case hit in there. That could be one of the reasons why it's a little lower, so just consider that. But besides that, they also do have blaster boxes, which I know are going to be at GameStop. If they're at GameStop, they're probably going to be at like Walmart and Target as well. And those are like $35. The blasters that Topps has been putting out lately, at least for SpongeBob, and I think for Dune too, because Dune has a possibility of hitting autos in it. But the SpongeBob ones came out at $30, and I think on eBay those things are up to, correct me if I'm wrong, I think like $80. So, and because they're just so loaded, the SpongeBob, and we'll talk about SpongeBob too, because I want to talk about some pricing stuff with that. But that's what's great is like you could actually go to your GameStop tomorrow or Wednesday, or when you're listening to this, I think this will either drop Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning. Go out to your GameStop, get in line, grab yourself some, rip some, and then if you want to hold some for a week and then see if it goes up to $100, you can. But that being said, they've got that, and they've also got the mega boxes that are coming out for this product, which are going to be like $65. So both good options for younger kids. Your daughters and your whoever wants the product can go out there and chase their princesses.
Well, and I think that back to your complaint about them coming in too close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess Topps' intention is they're hoping to bring in those new people that they don't care about as much as they should care about. They don't care about your guys that are coming in and they're going to be in your breaks every single week or every single month, because they know they have those people.
Yeah.
Those people are going to be fans of this product and are going to be interested in it, whether or not they can afford it.
Yes.
This having retail, this having, being a more affordable product, maybe it's one of those, and I complain about this with sports cards all the time, is you need to have some affordable SKUs that you can bring in the kids and that are meant to be interesting to them. And hopefully that's the choice and what they're going, because that'd be a good thing. If you're trying to grow the market, you need to get kids in.
I agree. And that's where I, again, give all kudos to Topps for listening, because it's like we weren't seeing this. We've talked about it over especially the last year or so, where when you think about non-sports, you obviously think like, oh, well, kids are probably going to like a lot of non-sports stuff because it's got cartoon characters and things like that. And the only problem is the pricing on a lot of stuff is just not within an average child's reach, and it's for a lot of families, not for their daily allotment of, do we want to buy groceries or do we want to buy this hobby box of something for our
hobby
kid?
box, please.
Obviously, that's the right choice, but parents are bad, so that's how that goes. But the situation we're now seeing is Top says, okay, we heard you. Here's some options for you, and if they're anything like what we're seeing in the SpongeBob hobby boxes, they're not just putting garbage in there. Some of these things are pretty loaded. So that is exciting to see with this Wonder product. Again, that comes out on Wednesday. The big chase, I think, is going to be, as far as autographs goes, is the Idina Menzel autograph, because she did not sign in the Disney Chrome product, but she is signing in this one. A lot of the other autographs are the same. In fact, I don't know if there's any others that are really standing out to me as being different, because you have Jodie Benson signing as Ariel. I don't think we had Prince Eric autos in the first one, but I don't think there's not a lot of people probably chasing Prince Eric autos. Not to say that there's not, but there's probably not as many as that are going to chase the Menzel auto. But yeah, for the most part, you're looking at a lot of the same ones. Elsa's the big difference. You've got Moana, the actor who voiced Moana, Merida, Tinkerbell, Jasmine, the Beast, Gaston, Ariel, real life Ariel, and the animated version. So Mulan, Pocahontas, Jasmine. I think I got all of Li Shang. Oh, BD Wong. BD Wong is signing in this. I'm a big BD Wong fan as a Law and Order SVU, and he's also in a show called Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot was critically acclaimed as one of the best shows out there, and I've never heard anybody ever talk about it. Do you even know about it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, it was on USA Network, and that may be.
Wasn't it AMC?
Characters Welcome. No, it was USA. Trust me on this.
Okay.
Look it up right now. Look it up, Alex from Clever Cuban Cards. I need you to believe me, because he was looking at me like he did not believe me.
You're right.
I was right.
It happens every now and then.
Here's the thing. Alex is very smart, so the fact that he questioned me did make me question my own reality. So, anyways, that is Disney Wonder. Again, I'm very curious about it. Either way, I think it's a great option. I was going to mention one other thing. They have a Princess Fractor, which is interesting. It's another super fractor, but it's another one of one. I hate that we're adding more and more one of ones out there, but a Princess Fractor, I'll accept it in this situation, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who love the fact that it's a Princess Fractor. It's like a pink version of a one of one, or pink or red. So I don't know.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Alex is like glazed over talking about it. So I'm sorry, we're not talking about the MLB inserts in Disney Chrome.
That's fine.
Do you know about those?
I do.
What do you think about them?
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's people that will complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you hit it, you can sell it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, don't buy it.
Are people complaining about it?
I think there are some. Let's be honest. You have been in the Sports Cards Nonsense Facebook page. People can complain about anything and everything.
I have stepped away largely, other than posting mailbag things, and occasionally I will go through and just see what's going on. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why, because it's like there is a lot of like, just I hate this and that's stupid about that, and I'm like, okay, cool, well, peace. I'm gonna go play with my animated cards. So whatever. That being said, let's talk a little bit. One last thing about Disney, because it's going to segue into another topic I want to get to. So Disney Chrome, I'm doing this week, and if you listen to Sports Cards Nonsense on Monday, congratulations. I'm going to reiterate a couple things I'm doing. So I'm doing big breaking on Tuesday night for Disney Chrome. I've got like 3 cases, my 3 last cases listed. I am doing character breaks, and it is going to be a $500 bounty for the first superfractor in each case. So go get in. I hope you're already there. Actually, by the time you're listening to this, it may be over. So if this releases on Tuesday afternoon, come over and check it out. It's probably live as we speak. That being said, Wednesday is going to be the Disney Wonder and the SpongeBob day. Now, SpongeBob is the first. When I started selling SpongeBob last Wednesday, I think was the release date. When I started doing breaks and things like that, I didn't actually do a break. I just sold personals. I sold personal boxes for the most part. And it was because I didn't really know how to do any breaks with it, because it's several characters, but then it's also like places and then quotes as the base cards. And it was just,
Hard to
It's
do
like,
a character break because there's only so many characters.
Exactly. And then it's like, how do you divide it up? And you don't know what's going to be popular. Well, now it's been a week later. We've seen some of the sales on this. I am curious. Have you seen the sales on SpongeBob?
I've seen some of the really high-end ones that get just, the triple auto superfractor that did over 20,000 or whatever it was.
Yes. Yep. 21,000 is what that did. So right now, even though I think Disney probably has like I say a longer staying power. I think it probably will. And I think we're still going to see cards that will beat out that 21,500 for the triple SpongeBob, Squidward, Patrick Auto Superfractor that got sold. Because, like, say the Mickey Mouse one-of-one is still out there. There's a lot of really big one-of-ones, like the Tom Hanks. Ooh, I think the Tom Hanks Auto one-of-one is behold, but not the Woody one-of-one. So there's a lot of, like, bigger one-of-ones that have yet to get pulled from the Disney product. So I think we'll top that out. But SpongeBob has 25 different cards that have sold as of today, Monday the 13th, over $3,000. I am kind of shocked by it. Like, I did not expect this with this product. In fact, there was the guy who pulled, do you know that famous painting, The Scream, where it's like two hands? Yeah.
The Squidward one.
So they did a Squidward version of it he has an insert in their Squidward's art gallery. There's a superfractor that was pulled. The guy was posting in the Non-Sports Cards Nonsense group about it. They showed a picture, and he started talking about it in the comments. And I noticed it went for 16,000, and someone was like shocked it went for that low. And I'm just like, really? Like, and they were saying, well, if the triple auto hadn't gone for 21.5, because a lot of people were thinking that was going to go for a lot more. Mm-hmm. And it may very well still. I honestly could have expected that to go higher given the characters, the fact that it's Superfractor and all that. But I still think 16,000 for an insert on granted, it's a famous work of art, and we've seen like what the Pikachu,
the Scream Pikachu is crazy numbers.
Or the Van Gogh, there's also the Scream one too. But yes,
the Van Gogh is nothing compared to the Scream.
Well, the only thing is that there's like 42,000 PSA tins of the Van Gogh Pikachu, and there's not quite as many of the Scream Pikachu. But yes, that one goes for a much higher dollar. But it is funny how when you start putting in realistic or real life art and putting it in different versions of these non-sport cards, how those seem to command a premium, because there's at least, in fact, there's another art gallery, Squidward art gallery, one that sold for 12,000. There's another one that sold for 11,600, and they're all just different versions of famous art pieces, just with Squidward instead of actual art. But it's crazy to know that there's 25 sales already that are over 3,000, not all of them being superfractors even. And it wasn't just on initial day. Some of these were in the last day or two. So I'm just kind of blown away by it. I love that it's so popular. Again, I am breaking it on Wednesday after the Disney Wonder, so come on over. But all that being said, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this SpongeBob product, because I have personal feelings. I wanted to hear yours first, though.
I probably could have told you that it would do well just from a growing up when and how I did. Mm-hmm. Like, as a young male growing up in the early 2000s, SpongeBob was incredibly popular.
Absolutely.
And who are the people that collect cards for the most part right now? Young men who grew up in the 2000s or had kids that grew up in the 2000s. Like, I think that it was one of those that obviously Disney is huge IP. Mm-hmm. Massive, massive, massive. I'm not shocked that SpongeBob is maybe even outperforming Disney, because Topps already has that market share. How many dudes that live in their basement, as Mike would like to call them,
yes, sure,
that collect sports cards also grew up watching SpongeBob?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now when Topps says, hey, check out, Topps Chrome SpongeBob, it's like, oh my God, wait a minute, I want to buy that.
Yes.
Like, I'm actually surprised, and this might be my lack of familiarity with the non-sport market. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have been surprised if that number of sales above $3,000 had been significantly higher.
Yeah, I am curious where we go with it, because we're still seeing one of ones that haven't been pulled yet. And we're also seeing, from what I keep hearing, is like, oh, there was a private sale of that card or that card. Mm-hmm. So I'm pulling all of these off of Card Ladder, and these are the ones that sold on like an eBay or a public space where you could see the sale. That being said, there may be many more that have gone for at least 3,000 or more that we just don't know about.
Yep.
And the fact is, you haven't seen the one-of-one SpongeBob get sold yet. I mean, I don't think in that list that I just mentioned is like the one of one Squidward or Gary or Patrick. And I think at least some of those, either the auto one of one or the actual base one of one have sold, and they're not here. So that would mean you probably could add more to that list, because I guarantee those went for over 3.
Yeah.
So
I'll be curious though. One of the challenges that exists just in card markets in general is when you become anchored to a point. You know, you're talking about like, oh, that seemed to go low, but given that the triple auto went for 21,000,
yes,
okay, maybe that contextually makes more sense. Had the triple auto gone for 50,000,
yes,
we're having a different conversation. And what it is you need people who have the deep pockets that are willing to pay above the last comp and willing to set a record and do those types of things, which whether or not those people show up, who knows?
Well, that's the thing. I think this product actually, where some products you see like the general malaise of like, oh, we're used to it now, we've seen it, you know, I got what I needed for my collection or my set, and so they've moved on to the next release. Those people, I understand why they may have that for certain products, but I don't think that applies to this one, because every day on the non-sports cards nonsense group, I see the pending posts, and it's overwhelming. Granted, there's been a lot of Disney and there's been a decent amount of Dune as well, but the amount of SpongeBob that is coming through there, and it's especially because they loaded those blasters with sketches that are amazing, and the sketches are going for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in some cases. And then you've got so many of them that also include like low numbered, like out of 10s and out of 5s in some cases. And it's like everybody's posting these hits and they're super excited about it. And so I could see it where if Topps does not put out another SpongeBob product in the next, few months, 6 months, a year, I think that this, like if you're holding any product, I think it only goes up from here. And I think those sales, I think whoever grabbed that one of one triple auto is either going to grade it and sell it for a crazy amount, or they could just resell it as is in the next few weeks, month, 2 months, and you might see, a considerable increase from that 21.5. That's my personal feeling. Now, the question is, do they continue to put out more product? That I don't know, because this was technically, even though it's like a Topps Chrome, it's a Topps Chrome 25th anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
My thinking is, how could they not, given what they've seen the pricing do on this?
I think it's to some extent a question similar to Disney of how many different versions of Elsa can you print with, just a different clip of her from a different point in the movie.
Yes.
Like, given sports cards has the rookie card chase, it has those types of things, your new characters, your new players.
Yep.
SpongeBob isn't really going to have that.
Yep.
Disney is a much smaller level. Like, there will be new Pixar characters or new this or that as movies come out, but it's not going to be at the same pace.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's how do you keep that rolling? And that's my question.
I completely agree, because that's the issue I was also seeing with it is not only, every collector out there probably is hoping they don't put out another SpongeBob product for years.
Yep.
Because at this point in time, this is doing very well, and it would only water down, because what else are you going to do? There's not, at least in Disney, the product from last year and this year, there's some characters that were in this year's product that weren't in last year. Same with the Marvel product, because they have such a wealth of characters and storylines they can go back to grab. And SpongeBob still has a decent amount. Obviously, they put out a set, but it does not have the amount that you would need to continually sustain a market for that product, in my opinion. So that being said, I am very excited to know that the market is probably bigger because of this product.
Yep,
we've brought in new people because of this product. And just to put it in perspective as well, I did check on Card Ladder for how many sales of Disney Chrome over 3,000, and it is more. It's 29 versus the 25 in this. Yep. And granted, like I said, there's still a number of big cards that have not been hit in the Disney one, so that probably goes up from here. However, it's still very, very, I think it's very cool, but it's very interesting to see how well SpongeBob has been doing. DC Sports, consignor of the stars, and anybody who breaks with myself or Mike, because they are doing something very special still. This is the last, I believe they're going to be doing this, but for the Disney Chrome product that I have been breaking, they have been giving a 95% payout, 97% payout, I believe, if it's over $5,000. The person who sold the Walt that sold for $13,600, which I'll have you know is the second highest Disney Chrome sale as of right now. That person got paid out 97%. But anybody who's consigning anything from my break specifically, and unfortunately, this does not apply to all Disney that you send into them. All Disney that you send in personally will be handled as they normally do. But as of right now, it's still a 95% payout. So just consider that for any of the future Disney Chrome that I'll be doing this coming week. Let's go to GameStop. So GameStop is interesting. What do you think about GameStop in the card community?
I think that GameStop is a fantastic entry point that allows people to come in, and especially given that they do the grading now, like people ask me all the time, like, do you grade your cards through GameStop? And I'm like, no, of course not. Like I know what I'm doing. I don't want some, random dude Dale from GameStop that is handling my cards with his Cheeto hands.
But it's an offensive take, but it's accurate.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's nothing against Dale and GameStop, because I think that to a lot of people, it is the only way that you are going to get the entry point to grading.
Sure.
And not everybody is lucky enough to have a really good local card store near them that is both trustworthy and actually offers grading services and all this and that.
Yep. And even if they do, they're not as comfortable going in there because it's not a chain. It's not like there's not like a manager who has a president who has a social media account that reaches millions of people. They trust that if something went wrong, they could go to that versus the LCS.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what do you do if the owner or whoever doesn't, do what you ask?
So I think that once people get deeper into the hobby, most likely they are going to go and find a real LCS. They're going to find a breaker who they like. They're going to find, online communities, Facebook groups, things like that, where they will find cards, grading, all of those things that they are looking to do. But a lot of the hobby is very, very intimidating. And I think that GameStop helps kind of make it a little less intimidating. So I think overall positive.
I agree with that. I think that I think the complaints we sometimes hear about GameStop often come from people who know more about the hobby and
more deep into it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, well, I know this shouldn't be like this, or I could have done better doing it a different way. And it's like, yeah, you could. But again, to your point, it's not really for you all the time in that capacity. That being said, GameStop did, I think, what I would consider the right move in a situation. Recently, we talked about how, Jeff Wilson put out a video, and I know others have too recently, where you're seeing people faking slabs they'll take out, like, say, the actual PSA paper grade, whatever it says at the top of it. Yeah. They'll take it out of there. They will put it into
a fake slab you can buy off of eBay or whatever. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. GameStop's been selling those fake slabs. They've actually had them.
Oh, like the acrylic.
The acrylic that you can make your own custom slab with. The problem is they look just like PSAs. Especially to the untrained eye, especially to the newer people. Yeah. But they've been selling these to, anybody. But I just got a contact who he doesn't work there, but he is a very close friend that I guess basically does anything he asks. Like when there's product, he saves him products. He will give him insider information. Yeah. And one of those things was they are finding out that those slabs are being pulled. They are no longer going to offer them for sale. It's not a huge story, but I think it's like, hey, good on you for listening and doing that, because it is a bit of an issue. It is a bit of an issue that could easily be taken advantage of. And it's like, hey, why continue to market it with your GameStop logos and all that stuff? Just take it off, or just revamp it until you have like something more defining that makes sure people know, hey, if someone tried to use this in a fake slab for PSA, it's not because it's got the GameStop logo somewhere on there.
I think ultimately, though, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen the Zion Mag Pro.
Oh, yeah, I've got some.
It looks exactly like a graded slab. I have some cards in my PC that I keep in there, and people on stream have asked me before, like, oh, what grading company is that? I'm like, it's not.
Yeah.
I think at the end, and I have also seen streamers who use those and have a little like sticker that put on it, but they create a grade and they say, this card's a 9, and it's their BS, homemade grading company that is not actually a grading company. That's just their way to sell cards.
Absolutely.
I think that at the end of the day, people who are going to try to scam other people are going to be doing it. Those dudes that are buying those cases at GameStop, they know enough that they need to be replicating a PSA slab. They know enough to how to do that. Is it easier if you can just walk into your local GameStop and buy the slabs? Yeah. But if you have the knowledge to fake a PSA slab, you have the knowledge of how to source those same exact acrylic cases elsewhere.
That's fair.
So I don't know. It's not a negative. Like, I'm not like, oh, like GameStop shouldn't be doing this, but like, I don't know. I view it as a non-starter either way.
My personal opinion is it would it have been make or break if they left them or took them down? No. It's not a big enough story out there. It's just one of those where it's like, I get a lot of posts, people share stuff where it's like, GameStop did this or they did that, and I'm not happy about it. And I'm just like, GameStop's not a sponsor of the show, which granted, if you want to be, talk to me. But they're not encouraging me to say one thing or another. But what I do think is they're good for the hobby. I think they are good for growing the hobby.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I like that, hey, there were people that had an issue with that, and so they made a change. Because my bigger concern would be, oh, well, there's people who are making complaints, and some of them aren't valid, but some of them are, and yet nothing gets done. Mm-hmm. So the fact that something got done makes me, positive for them, and I figured if I'm happy about it, I'll share it with others. So that's why I bring it up. All right. So the other thing, this got shared with me, I want to say last week or the week before. Sean Saito, who's one of great
Your
guy.
most common mailbag.
Most common
source.
Mailbag source. Also, in a lot of breaks, I give him the hardest time because he's one of the cheapest guy in the breaks, even though I know he has an amazing high-end collection. He shared a story on the Non-Sports Cards Nonsense group about an auction that recently ended for, actually, let me pull up the exact number. And this is what I had up when you first came into the room. Yeah. So it was for 7,500 signed, candid Polaroids.
Of who?
Celebrities. Just recently for $181,000 is what this sold for. $181,000. And now I'll expand this so you can kind of get a better idea. That is not Weird Al, even though I kind of thought it was at first. But so you got Meatloaf over here. You've got a number of musicians. You got Dave Grohl over here. Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's cool. You've got Garth Brooks on this one. You've got a number of other musicians. Tom Hanks is in here. Cher's in here. Matt Damon is in here. Basically, you name a celebrity, they are probably in this project, including like ones that have passed. You've got who am I thinking? Who played Genie? Who was in Jack?
Robin
Williams. Thank you. Robin Williams has a signed one in here. Some of these, I'll admit, I don't know some of them, but you got, there you go. B.B. King, Sharon Stone, Al Pacino is in these. It's a lot of people with their actual handwritten autograph on the bottom of the Polaroid. Dave Chappelle, The Rock, Morgan Freeman. There's Robin Williams. There's actually a couple of Robin Williams, 3 of them. Yeah. Tom Hanks, Jamie Foxx. Who do you think bought this? Mary Tyler Moore?
I would guess some sort of either super collector or like museum.
Okay.
Would be my thought.
Good guess. What if I told you Leaf bought this?
Oh, are they going to put it in cards?
We're going to see this in cards.
Okay, that's smart.
I am actually kind of pumped for that.
Well, it's 7,500 autos?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they said. So they sold it as 7,500 signed, candid autographs.
And it sold for what?
$181,250, I believe, with the buyer's premium.
So, Leaf's perspective there is that's $24.16 per auto.
I mean, you got Rodney Dangerfield, I'm looking at. Christopher Reeves. You know, these are people who they're not signing anymore.
Yep.
I think this is one of the better buys on their part. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of sad Topps didn't go after it, but it's not really. I don't see Topps making a
It's
product
not up
like
there.
that.
They're not going to do a Pop Century product,
Exactly.
whereas Leaf does, and now you've got
You got Meg Ryan, Woody Harrelson, you know,
Julie
Johnny
Andrews,
Depp,
Matt Damon.
Yeah, you got like people who don't sign very often. You got, oh, dang it, who's the director of Pulp Fiction and every other Quentin Tarantino?
Yes,
you got him in. It's a list that I could probably continue to read off name after name, but I am actually kind of pumped for this future product that we are going to be seeing that inevitably Leaf will be putting out, because they actually made a post saying how more to come, but this was their purchase. Yeah. So
that makes a lot of sense. I can see that.
What do you think about it? I mean, like overall, do you see this being something that would be, I don't know, popular?
For me, no, but I mean, the fact that Leaf Pop Century sells and sells how
Sure.
well it does, it very clearly, again, this clearly fits in with that.
Yep.
I can see them making some cool cards just with putting the Polaroid in there, and then now all of a sudden, to the point, at $24 per card, basically, Leaf is knowing that they're going to make money. I do this all the time when I buy big lots and I look at it, it's like, okay, even if there are half of these are duds,
Sure.
I'm still going to be able to make a ton of money because I know that at the average that I'm getting them for, cool,
Yes.
this is easy. And at $24, Leaf is riding that all the way to the bank.
1,000%. Yeah, I agree. And I do think my question is, how do you put this in a product where it's an actual card? Because as you can see,
super easily. Have you seen
like,
Allen and Ginter?
Well, no. I mean, just like,
You frame them.
do you see how a lot of these cards are autographed, not just on the bottom white part, which is smart for most people to do, but some of them they signed, you know, across the picture itself, or at least it goes into the picture itself. And a Polaroid is not a 2.5 by 3.5 inch piece of paper.
How big are these Polaroids, though? Are they full true size Polaroids, or are they like, because they make different size Polaroids. Like, I was at a wedding a few weekends ago, and they have the little ones that are like credit card size, which that would work.
Well, I mean, you're looking at these. I don't think those are that. A standard size Polaroid is 3.5 by 4.5. So my question is, does it become a little less advantageous with it not being, if they can't put it on a normal size card? Because we've seen that where it's like, hey, it's not an actual card. This is a memorabilia piece.
Yep.
And therefore it doesn't garner the same kind of attention. So yeah, I don't know. But
they could also, and maybe some of them you can. I was going to say some of them you
Yeah.
could trim the white border off the sides and the tops.
Yeah, like this Julie Andrews, Halle Berry right next to her. You could
No,
definitely
you chop
do
Halle
that.
Berry's auto off. That would get a PSA 7 for the auto.
That would
Went off the card.
Why would you ever do such a thing?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You there's some of these where you could manipulate in a way where you could still put the whole picture or of the person and the auto in there, but not all of them. That's a problem for them to solve. But I do think it. I don't know. I think it's a cool thing, especially knowing like these weren't like people signing these things with the purpose of this is going to be on a card for sale one day. This was like somebody. To me, it looks like at least some big fan who liked collecting autographs of famous people went out and got these and collected them for years. So, yeah, I thought I'd share that because it's something fun to look forward to and something different for the non-sport community that I think like a lot of collectors will be into.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that we're seeing such a, I don't want to call it resurgence because I don't know if resurgence would even be appropriate, such a boom in the non-sport side of things?
I think, like anything, markets fluctuate and go up and down and up and down. You look at the sports card market during COVID, it had the big boom. Pokemon right now is very, very clearly having a huge boom. And as you guys talk about on Sports Cards and Nonsense all the time, it's going to crash back down to earth at some point. It is not going to, it cannot, will not maintain this level of hype forever. But it crashing back down is still going to leave you 20, 30, 40, 50% above where things were before.
Sure. I can see that.
It's a cyclical thing. I think it's it makes sense. I think a lot of people are feeling burned, especially if you are like a sports card collector, burned by the values of cards, burned by the popular joke is, Charizard's not going to tear his ACL, or Pikachu's not going to go to the massage parlor and have any issues there.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Unless the anime writers decide to get a little crazy, their reputations are not going to be hurt.
Absolutely.
And so it is a safer place to have your money in. I worry, though. I think there's a lot of, particularly in the like sports card business side of things, I think there are a lot of people who are seeing the boom and shifting and transitioning their business to TCG.
Yes.
Instead of sports. And my concern there is if you're buying at the peak, if you're buying at the top, the highest price that this has ever sold before.
Yeah.
You then are reliant on that maintaining, if not growing, said price, which it can happen.
Yep.
Has continued to happen thus far with the Pokemon market, but it's not going to continue forever.
I can see that. I will say I don't care for the point you made about people coming in from the sports side and like being like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to transition. I'm going to do all non-sport. And I can say that because I've always been a non-sport guy. I appreciate sport as well. Don't get me wrong. I like sports cards, and I collect enough sports cards to still appreciate that side of things. But it's like, oh, well, I'm going to come into the non-sport because that's where the money's at. And it just, I go into breaks and people are like, talking about the Jungle Book character Baloo, and they're calling him Baloo. You got Baloo over here. Who wants to get this guy? Oh, man, that's an awesome hit. And I'm just like...
You get that in sports, though. I mean,
Sure.
We filmed this week's episode of the Hobby Handbook today, and we were talking about one of the biggest red flags of a breaker is somebody who doesn't know what they're opening. And that goes for anything.
Yes.
It's if you were to tell me, hey, you have to go break hockey product, I would say no.
I would absolutely do it, but I would just make a big scene of like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only way you can do it, but it's the people who kind of like, I feel like it's a lie. Like, it's like they're faking this enthusiasm for something they have no idea what they're doing though.
Yeah. And I agree. And to play a little devil's advocate, I would bet you that there are a decent amount of these people who are shifting over that, I have some friends who have been dealers here, they set up at the Nashville show all the time.
Yeah.
Literally every single show they are there. When I moved to Nashville 3 years ago, their cases were they had, one baseball case, 2 basketball cases, and 3 football cases. Now they have 5 Pokemon cases and 2 football cases.
Yeah.
And they have been Pokemon TCG fans forever. It's just not what the market was doing back in 2023.
Sure.
And so in the same way, like, people ask me, because like I have Pokemon cards in my collection. I buy Pokemon cards all the time. I just don't make content about it because it's not something that I'm trying to shift my business to.
Fair enough.
And I think that some people view this as the opportunity maybe to shift their business there. To my point, I think it's risky if you're somebody who was not already deep enough in it to have a lot of inventory, to have a lot going on.
Yeah,
I think
getting
it's
into
risky.
it now.
And you definitely have some people that are just in it for the money.
Sure.
But that's always been the case.
No, I agree. And that's just more of like a personal, like the Jesse's bugaboos. That's what I like to refer to them as. It's not a big thing. It's not a hobby shaking thing. It's just like, I don't care for it. But going back to the larger point of this being, bubble-esque, because it's not the same as 2021, in my opinion. But it is similar. I don't think we're seeing the same kind of huge spike, but I do think we're seeing a spike that will level out.
Look at price chart some cards.
Sure.
I would say that we are seeing the huge spike.
You think so? You think it's the same kind of huge spike? Because if you go back and look at 2021, you could pretty much pinpoint it to almost a week or definitely a month. It was like end of January, early February was like the peak where you saw things go for money that you may never see again, or actually in some cases we're starting to see again. But it's like you saw some cards that would rightfully not go for that amount in any situation today. And today, yes, it's gone up, but it's definitely a longer period, in my opinion. Like that boom that we're seeing is lasting longer than a month or a few weeks or whatever the case of that was. And it is not necessarily crashed down. We've seen some things, reallocate. Some things have gone down, but then others have just gone right back up. So in my opinion, I don't know if it doesn't feel the same to me, but I'm curious. You're looking things up?
So I'm going to use an example because I have not one in this grade, but Aquapolis Lugia. I don't know if you know the card.
I know Lugia.
The Crystal Lugia.
Oh,
very,
okay.
Very,
oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Very iconic card, very, very expensive. Back when I first started getting back into the hobby in 2021, I bought an Aquapolis Lugia just raw from somebody up in Michigan for $800.
Okay.
I think it's probably, I got it graded back when I did a little partnership with HGA Hybrid Grading Approach.
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore.
Oh, I remember them out in Knoxville.
Yeah, but it's an HGA 9. I think it's realistically a PSA 8, if I'm lucky, maybe a 7.
Okay.
Realistically. It was a CGC 8.5.
Gotcha.
A PSA 10 on the first sale of 2025 was $14,200 for an Aquapolis Lugia PSA 10.
Huh.
One just sold last night. How much do you think it sold for?
I'm assuming it's gone down.
But we're talking about the market going up.
Yeah, but I thought you were making the point that the market's coming down since then.
No, I was making. You said there's not a huge spike that's happening, and while it's not necessarily
are we
over
saying
the course
like
of
okay, go ahead.
It's not over the course of like you said with the sports that it happened seemingly like within like a week period you saw everything shoot up big time.
Yes, not to say that it all fell that fast, but that was like
Yes.
the how the graph looked.
Again, first sale this year was $14,200.
Okay.
Last night one sold for $36,000. You are telling me that there is a card that came out in 2003 that has been on the market for 22 years has seen a growth from $14,200 to $36,000 in a year, and that's not like, I think that is very clearly a bubble.
Okay.
When that bubble bursts, that card will, I doubt that it will maintain a $36,000 value long term.
Yes.
But I will bet you that it is at least an $18,000, if not $20,000 card when the bubble bursts. So you still see the growth.
Yeah.
But I think Pokemon very, very, very clearly is in a bubble. It's the same thing that happened with sports cards where you can't go to Target and buy Pokemon cards right now. You can't. They get picked up by people who are scalping them, who are just trying to make a quick buck. You have people complaining about local card shops that are, charging these scalper prices and all this and that. The market is the market is the market. I think it's a bubble, and I think it's a healthy market to have cards in. I think Pokemon is very safe. I'm not saying it's a bad space, and a bubble, it's going to happen regardless.
Okay.
I just think it's a bubble.
I'm not disagreeing with you completely because I do think some things are bubble, or at least like it feels like some things are getting pumped, manufactured to the point where it's like that's not a real demand, because you'll see some of them fall too pretty soon after. However, let me again devil's advocate here. The idea is that this is the same or very similar to what we saw in 2021. I argue that it's different for a few different reasons. One, you have like China entering the market for one this year, which is different. That's a huge community of people that are now into this hobby that were not so much before this, because now they're putting cards into Chinese and it's become a greater demand. You're seeing also a worldwide demand for Pokemon versus much more American focused for sports cards in greater UK and some other areas as well. But you're seeing a much larger market in general for these cards. But you also are seeing something that I believe is happening where we are becoming more accepting as a society of
Nerds.
cards and nerddom
I'm a
in
nerd,
general.
it's fine.
No, I agree.
not a
Same
negative
here,
thing.
bro. I'm right there with you. But we are seeing where these collectibles are becoming more and more an accepted form of wealth transfer in a way. Because a lot of times we've seen money is a way that people have measured how much value things have, right? But then it's also been wine and it's been art, famous pieces of art.
And cards are art. I agree with that.
And more and more we're seeing this medium of, money and value being accepted as, oh, well, if art can be that and wine and other things that people who have money have in their collections or in their 401ks or in their retirement plans, why can't we have collectibles as well?
And we can and we do.
But I just mean the more that's accepted, the more maybe we see this as more of a norm in pricing in some instances. Again, I don't think it's going to be every instance, but your Lugia may not come back down. I don't know. I don't know what the pop count, and I don't know what the future will hold, but my personal devil's advocate opinion is I wouldn't completely count it out as just assume that this is going to drop. Because I think some will, but I don't think everything will.
I think few things can grow.
Oh, well, sure.
That quickly, and it is generally across the board on the Pokemon market with things being insanely up. The Feltac Pikachu.
Yep.
I sold one a year and a half ago.
I sold one a week ago.
I sold one a year and a half ago for probably $200 in a PSA 10.
I sold mine as an SGC 10 for $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ray gave me a hard time because it's like a $2,000 card.
Tell me that is sustainable growth and that is not a bubble.
It's hard because there's 42,000 of them, or at least 42,000 PSA 10s out there, and they are all going for $2,000 or more.
Yep.
It's hard to argue. However, at this point in time, it hasn't. A bubble typically refers to something that grows exponentially quickly, and then it's gone pretty quickly as well.
But we're in the bubble right now. This hype, the hype really started, I think, around when Pokemon TCG Pocket came out. I think there was a lot of excitement with that end of last year, December, I think it was when it came out.
So yeah, about a year.
And
that's what I was thinking too.
Yep.
But a year that's for one, you can already say that's different than the sports card bubble of the early 2020s.
I think it lasted similar.
What are you talking? We just talked about. You could see the spike of it like going up.
Oh, you can see the spike, but it maintained it for a period of time.
No. It did not. Look at the card ladder pricing. Look at the card ladder indexes. You can see the spike in like between January and March of 2021 is where you saw those cards hit those highs. And then from that point, it was a steady decline. Now there was some, it would go down and then it was like a dead cat bounce where it like went down. Then it popped back up a little bit, but then it went down and just continued to go down until about 2024, maybe into 2023 or so is when we started seeing things kind of leveling out and coming back up some. But I would argue that the fact that this is maintained, if not continue to grow, not just in Pokemon, but in the non-sport side, sport card side of things as well. I don't know. I think there's something to be said for this side of the market being not just a bubble, but something that could continue because, like you mentioned, Pikachu's not going to get a DUI, Aladdin isn't going to. Well, I was going to make another DUI joke on a magic carpet ride, but that would be just stupid.
A magic towel ride.
Thank you. He's not going to, but these things are iconic and they're not being affected by someone getting injured, someone doing something stupid, which all of the people that would collect a sport card would probably have concern over as well. So that's why I think there's maybe a little bit more safety in the non-sport card of.
And I don't disagree. It's a safer bubble, but it's inorganic growth.
Okay. All right. I'm not completely disagreeing with you because it's hard to make an argument when things pop as much as they have.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's just weird to see that we are maintaining it and that we like the greater audience has not said, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense why there's 42,000 felt hat Pikachus going for $2,000. I would think a lot of them at this point would be like, yeah, we should probably like get out of it. And then everybody starts selling and then the price drops but they haven't. So
I think there needs to be a reason for people to get out of it. Similar with COVID, the reason why the sports card market started to come back down was because things started to open up again and it's okay. I can go spend my money on this or that.
Sure.
I think it's a matter of if/when something inevitably comes up that says, okay, you know what? Maybe this is actually
Yeah.
a better place to put my money into.
If the economy ever actually does take a tank, even though Friday's stock market was terrible, but apparently it's rebounded today on Monday. If we ever see that, then that'll be the real test. But at this point, I guess we just haven't seen the opportunity for that drop to happen yet. So thank you guys, first off, for listening. Thank you, Alex, for coming. One shout out I wanted to give was to one person that passed away, Clay Downing, otherwise known as OK Clay. He has been in my breaks. He's been in SCN Mailbag. He's been in Mike's breaks, all of the SCN stuff. He's been there for a number of years, but he's also, I don't remember the last stream he missed of mine. And not only that, his mom and his stepdad, who are also card collectors, they have not missed a stream of mine, and I don't remember how long. They would be, the three of them would be in there, and then they would also, on occasion, bring his siblings or sister even in there. And it was just like, it was such a fun and cool dynamic, and it just brought a lot of, I guess warmth to the room when you knew, like, oh, this family's in there with me and my wife in the room doing breaks and stuff, and then all these other people coming in. And it was just such a sad and devastating thing to hear that this young man in his 20s, I believe, just passed away this last week. So shout out to Clay Downing and his family for just being great people. He'll be missed. And yeah, thank you for being there so much for me. That is the end of Hobby Nonsense. We appreciate everybody listening. Please go out, like, support, do all the things that I typically beg, and I don't want to do in front of Alex, but I'll just do it.
You're
just
not above begging.
Go like it. Go subscribe to it. Go follow it. Go leave a positive review. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, that's the end of the show. Alex, again, thank you very much, guy. Where you have a number of mediums, where can people find you, Alex?
Clever Cuban Cards everywhere. You can find me. Just search that, and you'll find me.
I'm going to do it. Thank you again, and we will see you guys next week.